Hello, everybody. This is my new podcast, On the Block with Izzy. Today, I will be interviewing my father, Tony Lewis Jr., and his life with an incarcerated parent, being an activist for the being an activist for the community. Welcome to the show, Dad.
Thank you, baby. Thank you for having me.
So my first question for you is, what do you do in the community?
Well, I wear several hats in the community. I think the first thing is I'm a husband and a dad to you and your sister. Those are my most important titles. But I'm a criminal justice reformer, meaning that I try to help improve the criminal justice system. I help men and women when they return from incarceration, around stabilizing and to what we call reentry. So I'm a reentry expert. I'm an advocate for children with incarcerated parents, helping to amplify the voices of children that have an incarcerated parent and hoping to build an ecosystem that gives them more services and supports. And also, I've been known to be what they call a violence interrupter. So somebody that helps to stop gun violence in the community.
Right.
Yeah.
My second question is, what was it like growing up on Hanover?
Growing up on Hanover Place, it was it was really a family oriented place, as it still is now. Um, it was a lot of negative things going on our block when I grew up. But at the same time, it was a strong sense of community and support. So you had good and bad. For me, as a kid, coming from our family, grandma's side of the family, um, where the family had been on the block for since the 40s. And then granddad's side of the family moving there shortly after that. Everything that I knew was right there. Nothing else in the world mattered. And I got all of my lessons about life and all of my examples of service and helping the community came from those people. I saw them give. I was taught to look out for those that didn't have as much as we had. I was taught to protect the people around us and your family. So a lot of the things that's made me a successful activist, the things that's made me a successful community leader, I learned them on Hanover. I guess that's part of the reason I never left. That's why it's always been home.
My third question is, what do you think is so important about the April 10th protest?
Okay, so on April 10th, 2021, um, we had a Free Tony Lewis rally at Black Lives Matter Plaza, calling for the Biden administration to create a comprehensive clemency initiative that would not only free Tony Lewis, but would free thousands of other men and women that's in federal prison that have served um, over 2 decades, 3 decades in prison for nonviolent offenses. And it was really significant because the whole community came out to support my dad, your granddad, saying that his debt has been paid. Yes, he broke the law. Yes, he made bad decisions, but he's paid his debt, right? And it's time for him to be returned.
Right.
And he also had, it was a showing that he had a whole community that would support him, that would help him re-enter, that would help connect him to whatever services and supports that he needed. And most importantly, he had a family like ours that's awaiting his arrival. Um, you were there, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of people there, wasn't
Yes.
it? Yeah. So yeah, that's why April 10th was so significant. And I think I've heard even from other people that's in a similar situation I was, it really empowered families to know that they could speak up for their incarcerated loved one. And it was really cool. Pop Pop got a chance to call in.
Yeah.
And a lot of people that hear about Pop Pop but had never heard him, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah, they like never heard his voice.
Ex-
Yeah.
exactly. And so that was important. I don't know if you remember, but I was just looking around in the crowd when they heard his voice and how you just saw people like, right? He's not like just some myth, like he's an
Exactly.
actually person. Yeah.
My fourth question is just about family and friends and like how they impacted you. And I know that you've lost a lot of friends on your way up coming to be an activist. So how does that make you feel?
That's a good question. I mean, family and friends are everything. They've been my they're the reason I'm who I am. You know how I got here. And unfortunately, the neighborhood I grew up in, um, a lot of us didn't make it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And that's part of why I go so hard to try to change communities like the one where I'm from, the one you growing in, really for y'all trying to make it better, right? That you grow up in the same neighborhood but don't have to deal with the same things that I had to
Yeah.
deal with, right? You and your sister. Um, but it's been, losing so many friends to gun violence, drug overdose, and or the prison system has not been easy. It's been really difficult,
Mhm.
and it continues to be difficult. And for many people, like when they hear my story, a lot of times people think that's like something that I used to deal with. But even as you know, right, I still deal with those things.
Yeah, we all still deal
We
with
all
it.
right, and that's a tough pill for me for you to even say that you and your sister have to deal with some of those similar things. But my friends are still in the mix, right? Our loved ones are still incarcerated. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like I tell you and your sister, Daddy gonna continue to do everything that he can to make things better, and I know that you and her will make contributions to the world as well.
Hopefully, yes.
Yeah, for sure. And in your own way, though, right?
Mhm.
In your own way. It ain't got to be the way that Daddy does it, but in your own way, I know you guys are gonna make the world a better place.
So, my fifth question is, what do you think your kid self or and teen self would think of yourself today?
Oh man. Wow, that's a great question. Is I don't know. I my one of the things I can say, my kid self and my teen self never met a man like me. All the men for little Tony,
Right.
for Slug, all the men in his life, in my life at that time, were gangsters. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a guy who got up and went to work every day or a guy who did positive things. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But I absolutely know that my younger self um, had dreams of not going to prison, not dying early, right?
Right.
I didn't really have dreams of being anything. I wanted to be just like the men I saw, right? But but on that level, but I didn't want to go to jail and I didn't want to die early. And so I think that my younger self would look at myself and be like, yeah, you made it. You know what I'm
The
saying?
things you didn't want to
You
do.
yeah, you figured it out. You figured out how to not fall into the traps that everybody else fell
Yeah,
into.
fall into the positive side instead of the negative side.
Yeah,
Like, find yourself instead of going to jail and doing something bad, and starting to find yourself and do something positive, trying to change the
a
world.
100%. But at that time, I couldn't see that far. You know what I'm saying? We was living for like trying to make it out of the live in the moment, trying to survive. And that's the part that I take the most pride in. That what you and your sister won't have to do. You won't have to be in survival mode. You won't have to be thinking about like how I'm gonna make it. That your mom and I support y'all enough where at least you can really dream out loud. That's what I
Hmm.
like to call it. You can really think about what I want to do when I get older. I really didn't have that. You know what I'm saying? I was just trying to make it.
Yeah, because I understand now. Like, DC still has all those, everything, like people getting killed and stuff, but it's not as bad as it used to be. So, DC has come a long way.
Yeah.
But although people don't see, like, it doesn't seem like it's come a long way because there's still gun violence everywhere, it's not as bad as it used to be. It's
Exactly.
definitely getting better.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. There's much more to come.
My last question for you, which is my favorite, is what do you think about what you and other people do in the community affected DC from back in the day to now?
Yeah, I definitely see the changes. I see the impacts that, like you said, myself and others. And there's a lot of other people, people that I get a chance to lock arms with, some that I don't. That make incredible contributions to the city every day. That's giving it more hope, more opportunity. Um, and we just got to work harder to make sure that stuff trickles down to everybody, so that families can pull themselves out of poverty. The men and women coming home from prison can get the kind of careers and job opportunities that they
Right.
deserve, things like that. And once that happens, I feel like DC will go even further and really be the best city in the world. I know we have the potential to be. And that your generation, especially little black boys and girls from this city, will feel like it's a space and a place carved out for them. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to all the people that's in the work, everybody that's, waking up in the morning to make this place a better place for all of us, no matter what industry or what sector, what field that they're in. But shout out to the people that serve the people.
Yeah, because I know that sometimes men and women coming back from prison and they like the law has it on like one of their cards or something that they've came back from prison, that when they try to get a job, like most likely at the grocery store or something like that, paying money, that they'll probably decline them because they've been in jail before for something that they shouldn't done. But the only reason that they came back is because there is a reason that they're actually being another person.
Yeah.
They're not going to be like for a murder coming back. They're not going to murder somebody because they've already learned their lesson.
Facts.
That they're going to go to jail for that. They can't get away with that like this.
Yeah.
So I feel like people should be given a second chance. It's just like everybody needs a second chance because somebody could do something bad and then they can be another person the next day.
Yeah.
So I feel like second chances and second opportunities are most likely sometimes key to a good life after prison.
Amen. Absolutely. Hey.
Because I feel like everybody should be given a second chance.
I agree.
Because we only live once.
That's right. That's right. We make mistakes. We all make mistakes. And
nobody's perfect.
Nobody's perfect. And when you pay your debt to society, man, you should be able to. And we got too many examples. We don't got to say no names. But we got too many examples in our family, that we know people that made mistakes, but people that came home and turned their lives around.
Right.
Right.
And one of them soon should be pop up.
Facts. Free Tony Lewis. Thank you, Izzy.
You're welcome. Thank you guys for watching my podcast.